Thanks for joining us over here at Maniac, where we talk about whatever we feel like talking about for the day. Yeah. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Taylor.
And let's get started.
Yes, so how you been, Sarah?
I've been okay. Mm-hmm. I went to a concert.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, this past week with my dad.
Oh, okay.
It was like a surprise thing. He won tickets from the radio, which is wild to me.
It's random, yeah.
This dude wins like 3 a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
At least 3 things from the radio a year.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize he's an active participant in that.
He's crazy.
Yeah.
So, and I've never once won anything off the radio or anything like that, but he just somehow always ends up winning stuff. Mm-hmm. So he won Paramore tickets.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool. It was fully sold out show and everything. Mm-hmm. Of course, like, Paramore's always amazing. Mm-hmm. Haley's wonderful live. She's very energetic, very like interactive with the audience and stuff. Mm-hmm. So seeing them live in concert is always a good time. Yeah. What was crazy to me was they had 2 opening acts, right? Mm-hmm. On the first opening act, it was a band called the Linda Lindas. Mm-hmm. They are children.
Oh, really?
Yes, the drummer is 12.
Oh, wow, yeah, they are kids.
Yeah. The ages are like 12, 15, 16, 18, right? And they're like an LA-based band and everything. They were really good. Mm-hmm. What surprised me was how fucking professional one of the guitarists was. Mm-hmm. So the very first, like, 10 seconds of the first song of their set. They haven't even introduced themselves. Mm-hmm. You know, they like play the intro thing, they come on stage, they start playing a song, and then after that song's over, they introduce themselves. Yeah. This is before any of that happened, right? Mm-hmm. They come on, first 10 seconds, her and another guitarist kind of like jump together, and they're like playing, they jump, and then they land, and she falls to the ground. And she's on her back, and she's still playing the song. She's on the ground, still playing.
Yeah.
2 crew members have to come out, lift her up. Yeah. So she's standing. Yeah. But she injured her knee.
Oh, no.
And that's why she fell. So they lift her up. She's still playing the fucking guitar.
That's
the whole
crazy,
time.
Yeah.
They lift her up. She ends up having to, like, slide back down to the ground. She's sitting on the ground, still playing the fucking guitar. Yeah. And then the crew member has to go get a chair and bring a chair out. They put her in a chair. Never once did she stop playing. Yeah. And I was like, this is a child, but she's the most professional I've ever seen.
Yeah, like, yeah. That's, it was dedication.
Yes, it was wild. And they were actually really good. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen the movie Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
Yeah, I have.
It was very like that vibe. The music that's in Scott Pilgrim, it's that kind of vibe of music. Yeah. Which is like a good time. It's like good vibes, very, very fun. Yeah. So it was my first time hearing them and being introduced to them, and I really enjoyed it. And that was just like crazy. My dad had like binoculars. He was like watching and like narrating the whole thing to me.
That's
He's
so
like,
funny.
Something's wrong with her leg. Something's wrong with her leg. I'm like, okay. So it was really funny. And then they had a UK band called Owls, and they were their second opening act, and that's the first time I'd ever heard them as well. They were really good as well. So overall, it was just like a really great concert. One thing I hate is like driving into downtown. Right? It's horrible.
It's always bad. Yeah.
And Paramore didn't go on until 9.
Oh gosh,
and it was a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
On a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's really late, and then of course, like, parking downtown is horrible, and then when everyone is leaving, the traffic is horrible. Yeah. I really enjoyed the show. It was like a fun little thing. My dad just like called me on Saturday, right? The concert's on Tuesday. He calls me the Saturday before, and he's like, hey, you like Paramore? I'm like, yeah, I love Paramore. He's like, okay, you want to go to this concert with me? I'm like, okay. So it was just like a fun little surprise. Yeah. Which was nice. It got me like out of the house and everything. Yeah, it was a good time. If you get a chance to see Paramore, definitely do it.
Yeah. So where were your seats?
We were like in nosebleed seats.
Oh, really?
We were at the very top. Yeah. Honestly, it wasn't that big a deal. This is the first concert I've ever been to where like the audience knows every word to every song. Old songs, new songs, all of them.
Really? That's your first time?
They sang the entire time. It was so loud.
Yeah.
The audience singing. It was almost like there was a background recording of like a choir in the back singing with the band. And it was amazing to me. It was just like a whole new environment for every song. I've been to ones where like, you know, like the most popular songs, everyone sings along, right? But like every single song was like that, the whole concert.
Really? I think most concerts I've been to, it feels like everyone knows the song lyrics.
I don't know. It was just so loud.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is crazy. Although I guess I usually go to like smaller venues, right? I'm usually like, I don't know, where there's maybe at maximum 500 people there, right?
Yeah.
This is like thousands of people in this arena, right?
So
maybe it just seemed louder because there's more people, but yeah, it was a good time.
So your ears are okay?
Yeah, they're all right. I think because we were so high up, I didn't really have as many issues.
That's good, that's good.
It was difficult. I'm used to, like, when you sit in the nosebleeds, right? Like, usually people don't stand up in the nosebleeds.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
It's very steep, you know? But this concert was filled with youngins, and the youngins stood up, and of course if someone in front of you stands up, you have to stand up.
Yeah.
And we're like second to last row of the entire arena. So everyone in front of us stands up, so I have to stand up, right? And like with my health stuff, I can't stay standing for that long of a time period.
Physically very straining.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like dying a little bit, and I would have to like, you know, like the seats fold down, and I would like fold my seat up and like sit on the edge of my seat, so maybe I could see around a little bit.
Yes, I've done that.
Yeah. So I kept having to like sit down and get up and sit down and get up, but overall it was a really enjoyable time. It was a good time.
That's good. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah,
very very random.
Yeah, it was so random. But I was like, this is great. You know, just one of those spontaneous life moments that you gotta roll with.
Yeah.
But yeah. How was your test for teaching?
Oh, yeah, I passed.
Yay!
Yeah.
I figured you were going to pass.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was not sure.
Really?
No.
No question in my mind. I knew you were going to pass.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, no. I took the test and I was like, I'm pretty sure I failed that because it was so random.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I think no amount of studying I did would have prepared me for it.
Is it like... I always hate those like situational questions or like the scenarios.
No, they were just
straightforward.
Yeah, straightforward. Well, some of them were asked very weirdly. Some of them were phrased very weirdly, and I would sit there for like 2-3 minutes, being like, "What does it want me to do?"
Yes, I hate those ones where you're like not quite sure if it's like a negative sentence or not, right? Or like a positive. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
Like grammatically.
Yeah.
This sentence means this, but like the way you read it.
Yeah.
It means this. So I don't know what they want. Yeah. I always have that problem.
Yeah, but it was really random, and the things that I asked was random, so I just tried my best, and I managed to pass, and that's all I needed.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So what are your, like, next steps now?
Now I'm practicing and studying for another exam.
Another one. How many do you have to take?
I have to take 3 in total.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
So,
pretty cool.
yeah. So I'm working on the second one right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much time do you have in between? Is it, like, go at your own pace and then you take
Yeah.
this?
It's
okay.
go at your own pace.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I want to take it as soon as possible.
Right.
But they won't let me take it until I score I get a passing score on the practice one. And I just did the practice one yesterday and I did not pass. So I was like, I gotta study some more.
Yeah. That's pretty cool that you have practice ones too, though.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So they, like, really prepare you. They're like, hey, you're gonna go in and do this, but...
Yeah.
So can you take them, like, as many times as you want?
No. Ideally, you pass within the first 3 tries.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And then I don't know what happens after the third one if you...
They're just like, well...
I know they want you to pass it within the first 3 tries.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna go for.
I mean,
Yeah.
Nobody wants to have to keep taking it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I know, like, you know, like, CPA stuff, right? Like, you have as many tries as you want within that time frame. So it's always different. When do you think you're gonna end up trying to take it next?
I'm gonna try to take the practice again, like, today or tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Proactive.
No, it's because I really want to be able to schedule
Yeah.
that second exam, because once I schedule it, then it's set in stone. I can't procrastinate.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I still can't procrastinate, but I can procrastinate up until the day I take it.
Yeah.
But right now, since not scheduled, I feel like I'm at an impasse where I'm not doing anything, even
Right.
though I know I am doing something.
Right.
It just feels like I'm not pushing myself enough. what I'm aiming for.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's going so fast.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why I thought it was going to be a lot slower.
Yeah.
But, so I guess that's like all of your time, right? Like you're just spending doing teaching stuff?
Yeah, basically.
And streaming, right?
Yes, I still streaming this game called Life is Strange. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
No.
It's a story-based game.
Uh-huh.
And basically, it's one of those story games where your actions has consequences.
Oh, is it scary?
No, it's not scary.
I don't do well with the scary one.
No, it's not scary. It was revolutionary when it first came out, but now, like with all the other story games, it's kind of like, you know...
It's like on par.
Yeah, it's on par. It's
yeah.
okay, yeah. And I had not played it before. Yeah, I seen some gameplay of it, but I've not played it before, so I was like, I'm gonna try playing it. And it was actually pretty interesting. It's about a girl who suddenly out of nowhere gets powers to rewind moments in her life. So she has a bit of rewind power, which you get to use within the game.
Yeah.
And so then she tries to save her best friend. She, like, does a bunch of other things where she, like, can teleport with her power, her time-traveling power.
Yeah.
Like, she experiments with the power. It's really interesting. I definitely feel as though someone her age, if she was given that power in that scenario, she would have done more.
Yeah.
And done crazier things.
Yeah.
But in the realm of the game, it made sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I actually recently watched an anime that was very similar to that.
Really?
Where it was the, like, rewind factor. And the main character, he had this power. And it had always been where, like, you'll get a glimpse of what's about to happen. And then it only rewinds about, like, 1 minute, right? And something horrible is going to happen in that 1 minute. And he like, makes actions to stop those things, right? So, like, it starts out with... He gets a glimpse of a truck driver crossing him, and the driver is asleep, and this child is about to cross the street, right? He gets a glimpse of this. And he has to figure out what's going to be wrong and what he needs to change to fix it, right? So he goes over and he grabs the windows down on the truck, and he grabs the wheel and turns the wheel of the truck. So they end up crashing, but he saves the kid, and no one else was injured, right? The truck driver was already deceased. He had had a heart attack. And so he kept doing these little things, right? And then... when he was a child, there had been a kidnapper who had, like, taken and killed a couple of kids from his school, right? And one of them had been a kid that he had crossed the night she'd gone missing, and he saw her standing there alone and didn't do anything, right? Like, didn't spend any time with her, didn't say anything. All of a sudden, he, like, wakes up, and he's 20 years in the past, right, at that time. And so then he starts trying to make these moves to try and, like, figure out who's going to take her and, like, try to be with her more often so she's never alone, so he can try and save her and all this stuff. And so it, like, follows that storyline of him trying to, like, fix this. And it's, like, murder mystery, kind of, like, heartfelt, daily life sort of anime. It was really good.
Yeah. I feel like I've watched that anime.
Have you?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't want to, like, ruin the plot for everyone, so I don't want to give more details, but...
No. Yeah, I get it. They're, like, a scene where they're just, like, in a school bus together or something? Yes. Then I have watched this anime. Yeah. My favorite scene is actually the, like, when he's, like, in the car, and it's the, like, reveal moment where, like, you get the reveal of, like, who did this and everything like that. That's my favorite moment from the whole show. But yeah, it is a good show. I do recommend it.
Oh yeah. I've been watching a lot of those now. I've seen a lot of those come up where there's a lot of the, like, time travel aspects. I always think it's interesting, but I feel like too with, like, time travel plots, there's always a lot of, like, plot holes. Oh yeah, for sure. Right? There's so many. Yeah. Sometimes when it's just, like, so far out there, right, and you're just like, well, what happened here? Like, what if this happens and stuff like that? There's too many plot holes. Like, I just can't continue to follow along unless it's just, like, so out there where you're like, okay, like, this is a crazy scenario, you know, like, none of this would happen anyways, so it's not, like, that big of a deal. So you've been playing that game. Yeah. Or do you play one game at a time, or do you play, like, multiples? I try to do multiple games at a time, but it's difficult. Yeah. So that I've just been taking it one game at a time. One game? Yeah. You just, like, finish the whole game, play through, and then move on? Yeah. Oh, okay. Exactly. And that makes it easier, too, for the editing process when I'm, like, getting clips and stuff. Yeah. Definitely makes it a lot easier. So I did that, Life is Strange. I plan to play the second one, Life is Strange, too, because there's a second one after that, yeah. All right. Now, I've been addicted to Disney's Dreamlight Valley
No, I have not.
It's on the Switch.
Okay.
And it's really not that extensive of a game. Yes, so it's like a children's game, right? It's kind of like Sims meets Animal Crossing, where you're just like a character and your whole goal is to collect all of the villagers and kind of like revamp your valley, right? Your town, and uncover like what was wrong. And so really it's just like Animal Crossing, right? Where like you'll go in a villager and be like, can you do this for me? And you're like, okay, and you go and like do this for that person, and then they like level up with their friendship level with you and stuff. And there's a lot of like free range play like you could in The Sims, right? Where you can just run around and kind of interact with whatever you want, and you can decorate your house and stuff based on things that you receive in the game. And I've just been playing that. I don't know why I got so addicted to it. I think I want to like finish the game, right? And I don't even know if this game has a finish. Like, I don't know if there's an end to it.
Like so, there's no end in Animal Crossing, for example.
So I'm like, I don't know, like I need to get there to see. So I'm like trying to level up all of my characters and get all of the ones that are available and everything like that, because I'm just like, I just need to know if this ends, or if you just keep playing, because it feels like there would be a finish point, right? Because there's only so many characters in the game that you can unlock, right? There's only so many locations you can unlock, right? There's only so many like pieces of clothing, pieces of furniture, and things within the game. So I'm like, what happens if you get all of them? Is it just like over, like you just keep running around and doing whatever you want, or you know, like do they continue to add more people? Because technically the way the game is designed, it looks like it's designed for them to continually update the game. But like I haven't seen any updates yet, so I'm like, I don't know. So that's really why I'm like stuck on it, because I'm just like, I need to know how this ends.
No worries. That's great though that you're enjoying the game.
I literally play all day.
Oh, that's good.
Every day. So I just like sit in the office while Dewey's working from home, right? And I just play all day long. And then I basically take my Switch and I play until my Switch dies, and then I put my Switch on the charger, and then tomorrow's the next day. And
that's good.
Take my Switch.
So do you enjoy like having like the portability of a game rather than like sitting at a desk? Really?
No, I need the portability.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I see.
I think like health-wise now, because I have to be able to like lay down and kind of like move around and stuff every now and then, I definitely need the portability. I pretty much exclusively use my Switch now, because I can take it anywhere, even play it while I'm like in bed. All of my other gaming systems are in the living room, right? Hooked up to the big screen TV. And I just like, I don't know, I just can't always like sit there and do that. I also have found that the smaller screens, when I'm looking at them, not hurt my head or like affect my vision as much.
That's good.
I don't know if it's just like the larger screen, there's just more moving, more in my vision field. So that has helped as well. So I usually play, even if I'm like in the living room and I could be playing on the TV, I still play handheld. Just because it seems to work better for me right now.
That's good. That's good.
I used to play a lot of computer games. And I still do enjoy doing that. I've just found that like sitting up in my computer chair usually causes me a lot of like abdominal pain if I sit there for too long. And when I play, it's like a very long period of time that I want to play for. And so I don't like to be interrupted with like being doubled over in pain and being like, okay, I need to like quit here, and I feel like I'm not at a good stopping point. So I'll just like continue to try and like play through the pain, and then I start to feel even worse, and then it just becomes a whole like ordeal. So, love the Switch, but I also, like, grew up with Game Boys, right? Like, you know, everything was handheld anyways. So, I just feel like it's kind of, like, nostalgic for me as well to have that. So, I like it.
That's good.
You play primarily PC, right?
Yeah, I primarily PC games. Mainly because it's a lot easier for me to stay focused on the game when I'm sitting at my desk. And then not get distracted. Because I notice now when I play handheld games, I get distracted really easily. And I'll be like, let me check my phone. And then I'll be on my phone then for a while. And I'll just leave the game there. I
do not have that problem. I get like tunnel vision. It's like just me in the game. Someone will be trying to talk to me and I'll just be like... are you talking to me? Like, I'm just like, I can't figure it out. So, I don't know. I definitely don't have that issue. But I do the same thing. I get tunnel vision anytime, like, I'm watching a movie or a show, too. Like, it's just me and TV, or, like, me and my phone. And, like, that's it. There's nothing else happening, usually. So.
Did you do anything for July 4th weekend?
No. I just stayed in, and I watched the ABC version TV show Ghost. I just watched, like, all the episodes that were available. And our neighbors set off a lot of fireworks, which was actually very aggravating. I don't mind fireworks. I don't mind you having a good time outside. But it's very irritating to me that they set them off in front of our house. And, like, the kids were, like, on our porch, like, hiding on our porch in our driveway. And, like, even that, I was totally fine. I never stopped them or anything like that. Didn't say anything. I'm like, you know what? It's okay. Like, our car's in the garage. It's available space. There's a lot of people parked out here all together, you know? Like, I get that. What really bothered me is that the next day, they didn't pick up any of the trash.
I knew it. I was figured that was
all the trash in the driveway, all the trash in my lawn, all over my flower beds. Didn't pick up any of it. And so that's what really made me upset, because I'm like, okay, like, I wasn't rude to you. I let you do this, you know, like, I never came out and said anything. I wasn't upset that you were doing fireworks late into the night, you know, like, there was no problem. And then you don't have the courtesy to clean up after yourself. And so that's what, like, really upset me. But, you know, we have a very anxious dog. And so I was scared to, like, go anywhere or do anything as well, because I didn't want to leave him by himself. He recently... we can't kennel him anymore, right? Like, he just gets so terrified. There's a lot of trauma from that, from when he was in an abusive home. And so we don't kennel him anymore. We leave him in his safe space, which is the bedroom. And we just lock him in there, right? But we can't close the door, because if we close the door, he tries to get out. So we were using baby gates. Like the hardwood baby gates. And we were using that. And then we recently upgraded to one of the retractable ones. So we started using the retractable one, and it was totally fun. We had been using it for like a week and a half, and he was fine with that. There was no issue. And then one day... we had left, and we got a delivery while he was by himself at home.
Oh, no, Yeah,
and he chewed his way through the retractable baby gate.
Oh, my gosh.
And so when we got home, it's just, like, all chewed up, covered in blood, and he's just, like, standing by the front door.
Oh, my gosh.
I was like, oh, gosh. So, I don't know, I don't like to leave him by himself, and there's going to be lots of, like, people around, lots of noises. He really should be medicated.
Yes, that's what I was thinking, too.
But, and, like, we do give him, like, the CBD treats and stuff to, like, put him in the calming state. We have the pheromone diffuser in the room. Anytime we leave, and, like, especially on those days, we have it on and everything. But it really needs to be, like, on actually, like, veterinarian prescribed medication.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too.
Problem is that he's a finicky eater, and so he barely eats as is, right? And when you put him on anxiety meds, usually the anxiety meds reduce how much they eat or kind of keep them from eating, and it's already hard for us to get him to eat food, right?
I thought you guys switched him to a new food and it was working a lot better.
It works a lot better. That doesn't mean that he eats as much as he really should be eating. I mean, he's we always thought he was too skinny, right? And we, like, took him to the vet, and we're like, you know, is he okay and all this stuff, and the vet says that he's in perfect, pristine condition, which is not normal for house pets, right? Usually dogs are not, like, super lean and like thin and everything like that. They're usually a little heavier because they're house pets, right? But it's hard for us to even get him to that point. Like, it's very difficult for us to get him to eat his food. We have to, like, add a bunch of additives and try and, like, make it more enticing, and we've tried all kinds of different foods and stuff, and it's just very difficult to get him to eat. So I don't want to add a medication that also affects that, because I think he would just lose way too much weight. So, and it's just, like, there's only so much you can do. You just kind of have to, like, live with, like, okay, this is not going to go out on, like, on firework holidays, you know, which is okay. We aren't really big on fireworks anyways. You know, like, we don't leave him home alone for, like, extended periods of time.
Yeah.
We have a camera that watches him so we can, like, talk to him and all that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. I think his anxiety has recently gotten a lot worse. I'm not sure what's triggering it. There was one day, poor baby, we had an Amazon delivery, a UPS delivery, the yard man came, and the pest control guy came, all on the same day, like, all within, like, a 3-hour span. And then, like, since that day, he's just, like, an anxious little ball of just terror right now.
Yeah.
And so, he just, like, couldn't handle all of that, and a lot of his time just kind of, like, quivering. So, we've gotten him to where, like, he calms down if we're in, like, specific rooms, and he calms down, you know, as long as he's with us, but that, like, separation anxiety when he's alone is just too strong. So, I don't know, we've been trying different things, but there's only so much.
There's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
Have you thought about just occasionally using the anti-anxiety meds?
Yeah, I did think about doing that, just for, like, those big days.
Yeah, exactly,
right? Like, days that are, like, really, really not going to be good for him. But I don't know. Like, as long as we're with him, he does okay. And what's funny is we have 2 dogs, right? And he's very anxious. He does not care about thunderstorms at all. And my other dog, who has no anxiety, is so friendly, like, doesn't care about anything, is the one that starts, like, crying during thunderstorms. So I'm just like, oh, great, like, I thought we would get a break during this, and now we don't. We have the other one. So we've been going back and forth with the vet, trying to figure out what's going to be the best option to do, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I think, too, he has a lot of anxiety with the wood flooring. And, you know, we recently got rid of our giant, like, living room rug. And so now it's just, like, wood floor in there, which I love because it's easier to maintain.
Oh, yeah. It's so much easier to clean.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, Roomba will just vacuum for me. It's great.
Yes.
But he, like, won't walk into the living room anymore. He'll just, like, sit in the doorway of the bedroom on the carpet. And he'll just, like, cry at you and stare at you from there because he doesn't want to walk on the wood. So I'm like, great, now I gotta go buy another rug and put these down. I don't know. But it's really weird because he doesn't like our wood floors. But he has no problem at other people's houses with wood floors.
Really?
Yeah. And like, tile floors. Like, my grandma's fully tiled, and he has no issues there. He just doesn't like our floors.
Maybe it's because he's, like, outside. He's already thinking about so many other things. And so then he just ignores the floors.
Yeah, just so overwhelmed with everything.
He's so overwhelmed by everything,
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think, too, like, he has slipped a couple times while we're at home. It's usually, like, they're both excited, and, you know, like, my other dog will kind of bump into him, and then he slips a little bit. And so I think that has just, like, scarred him.
Yeah,
he's just like,
traumatized.
This is where I fall.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. So he's a happy mess, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, like, he loves being here.
Yeah,
so.
of course.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll get better. But did you guys do anything for the 4th?
Yeah, we went to Austin for the 4th weekend.
Really?
Yeah, we did.
Just for, like, funsies?
We went to visit some of Jackson's friends.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because, they're doing July 4th stuff, but, like, we went so that mainly, like, go to art museums and coffee shops, which is what we like to do when we're in Austin. So that's what we did, and it was super fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the Umlauf Sculpture Garden in Austin?
Oh, I've heard of it, but I have not been.
I highly recommend.
Yeah.
My favorite sculpture of all time is actually in that sculpture garden.
Really? Really?
Yeah, it's called The Kiss.
Oh, okay.
And it's beautiful. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that sculpture garden, and we like going to museums too. But it's just rare that we actually go because we're not city people.
Yeah.
And the museums are always, like, in the city.
It's always in the city,
yeah. And so it's rare that we actually end up going. It has to be, like, a special occasion usually. Or if we have kids with us, like, we'll watch friends' kids or, you know, like, family members or something. We're right away, we're like, let's go to the museum.
Yeah.
Immediately. Like, nothing else matters. We're like, hey, you want to go to the Museum of Science? Like, hey, you want to go to, like, this kids museum? Hey, you want to go see some art? Like, excited to, like,
take kids out. Yeah, that's good.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I despise water parks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I am not a water park person. One, all of the rides require heights, right? Because you're, like, water, you got to go down with gravity, right? So it requires heights, and I'm terrified of heights. So if it's, like a gradual decline type ride, and you're, like, in a tube, I can usually do those okay. But I really hate being in, like, a giant public water pool thing.
Really?
Right? Yeah, I don't like it.
I always find them to be really fun.
No, I don't know. Something about it just feels, like, really unclean to me.
It is very unsanitary.
Yes. So I freak out a little bit. I loved, like, when I was younger, I loved being in the, like, lazy rivers and stuff. But I just can't, I don't know, I can't get behind it nowadays. But if we're watching a kid and the kid's like, I want to go to the water park, I'm like, you're right, let's go to the water park. So you give up those things that kind of keep you from doing stuff when, like, children are like, I really want to experience this. And I'm like, you betcha, we'll experience it together. Like, so we do that a lot.
But you guys watch kids often?
Now and then, yeah. So,
really?
I used to watch kids more often, like when I was nannying and stuff. So I would have the kids and I would go to, like, the parks, and actually, this is like 2 years ago now, but I went to Disney, free Disney vacation.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Just as a nanny. So they paid for everything and I went.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was just with the kids at the parks.
Yeah.
And which I really enjoyed. We've watched, like, we have some friends who have children, right? And so one time we had a friend, we call him Pookie, but that's not his real name. I don't know, just the first night we met him, we were playing a board game, and he was this character named Pookie.
Yeah.
And so it just stuck.
It stuck, yeah.
We call him Pookie now.
That's so funny.
It's really funny because he's huge.
Yeah.
He's, like, 7 foot tall, like, big burly guy, like, very masculine, and we just call him Pookie. But he has kids. You know, there was one day where, like, he had to work and, like, nobody could watch them, and he just, like, reached out and was like, hey, could you, like, take care of the kids for me on this day and all this stuff. He's like, I can't get anyone to switch shifts with me, and, you know, like, single parent, right? At the time, he's about to get married now, so but at the time he's a single parent and everything, and we were like, yeah, absolutely. So we took the kids, and we were just supposed to, like, watch them and hang out with them, but we were like, let's take them to the kids museum.
Yeah, let's do something fun.
Yeah, let's go do these fun things with them.
Yeah.
They don't get to do those often, right? And so we're like, yeah, let's go do all these things. So anytime we do watch kids, we're like those really, like, fun aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, let's go do all these activities. Just because we don't have them very often, right?
Yeah.
So it's easier for us to, like, spend that additional money than, like, a parent who has to, like, continually be with their kid. Like, you can't do that every day, right?
No, yeah.
So we watch kids fairly often.
Yeah.
Now it's gotten to the point where, like, the kids we watch more often who are around are older. It's, like, my younger siblings or Dewey's nieces, which are older, right? They're, like, going into college or, like, in high school.
Yeah.
So they care less about doing fun things with us, right?
Yeah.
They're like, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Like, my brothers, one of them is just going into college and the other one is a junior in high school right now. And every time they come to, like, visit me, we always do something. We're like, yeah, let's go just do this fun thing over here, or do this thing, or let's go experience this. And it's just because they don't usually get to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess I'm just the, like, fun aunt.
Yeah.
Who does everything. It's fun.
It's nice being the fun aunt.
Yeah. You get to return them at the end of the day and everything, so.
Yeah.
You know, you get, like, worn out, and then you're like, okay, cool, go home. I'm gonna take a nap. So, it's good.
Yeah.
I don't know, and we really like kids a lot, so it's just enjoyable for us to, like, have them around and everything. Never around kids, huh?
No, we're never around kids. So that's why I was like, oh, you guys actually know people with kids?
Yeah.
We don't know anyone with kids. And so, like, we never spend time with kids.
Yeah.
Like, it's rare.
I think our, like, close friend group, none of them have kids, right? I think we're all kind of, like, in that time frame where, like, everyone is either getting married right now or has been married, but they're not at the point where they're like, I want to have kids, or there are people who just don't want kids, right?
Yeah.
It's totally cool. So I think, like, our immediate friend group, we don't have kids around, but we have very large families, and our families have younger children who we're around often, and then we have, like, a couple of those friends that we've met through, like, acquaintances or, like, through work situations, and they're a little bit older, and they usually have young children, and so we spend time with them. It's not as frequent, but it does happen.
Yeah.
So
you're like, I recommend it, hanging out with kids. And
dude,
and
it's
I'm
a
like,
good time.
I don't know.
It depends on the kids.
Yeah, it does depend on the kid. Yeah,
'cause
that's true.
They could be horrible. Horrible. Usually, our friends' kids are well-behaved, you know, they love you because you're not around often, right? And then when you are around, they always have a good time. It's always a good day. So their energy around you is always really good. And I just, like, kids are so funny. They're so fun. They have no filter, right?
Yeah.
So they crack me up. Sometimes they read you for filth, though. It's like, why haven't you popped that pimple on your face? Who's gonna pop that pimple on your face? And I'm like, no one's gonna pop that pimple on my face. Like, it's just kind of those things, but we like them. I love kids. I've worked with them a lot in several of my jobs.
Yeah.
But I've been in situations where I've been like, this child is horrible, and I do not want to spend any more time with them. But, you know, I would say that's been like a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few times. Overall, it's been totally fine. Everyone's kids are totally fine. There definitely can be asshole kids.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, too, like, I always wanted to have kids anyways, so... And I grew up, like, raising my younger siblings, because there's a huge age... We're 14 years apart, right? So I grew up, like, raising them and, like, having children around all the time. So, like, really at the age of 14, right, like, I was already a parent, right? And totally messed me up for a lot of things in life, right? Because I had to be super responsible at such a young age.
Yeah.
But I think, like, as far as having that, like, maternal instinct, that definitely, like, kicked in real early for me. And I just, like, really enjoy being around children and, like, care of them. And I see myself as a selfish person. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm very selfish. And, you know, like, there will be times where, like, I have the intention to, like, do something for someone else or, you know, like, go out of my way, but I just really don't want to, right? Like, I'll do it, but I really don't want to. And, like, I don't have that, like, instinct to be like, oh, I just want to take care of you just to take care of you for normal adults. When it comes to kids, like, I will sacrifice everything.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people like that.
I don't know. Like,
where they just, like kids and they're willing to give more to children than they are to normal adults.
Yes. And my patience level with kids...
Yeah.
There is no end to my patience, right? Like, when it comes to children. When it comes to adults, I have no patience.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Like, I get so frustrated on the regular just because I'm like, you're an adult. You should understand how the world works.
Yeah.
Like, you should know this.
Yeah. Like, so what did you do when your neighbors left the trash on your yard?
Oh... I was just real angry.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything to them.
You guys didn't do anything? I would have taken all the trash and then put it back on their yard.
We left it. We didn't pick it up.
Oh, you didn't pick it up?
No, we didn't pick it up.
Yeah.
And several days went by. I don't think they ever came to pick it up. I think their yard people blew it off of the yard and off of driveway and stuff, because our yard guy hasn't come yet, so I know it's not from us.
Yeah.
So I think they came over and kind of cleaned it up and stuff. But it was several days later. And I have noticed that, like, when something happens, right, like when their dog busts through my fence line or anything like that, it does take them several days to, like, take action, which I get. They both work, they've got kids, like, it's a big family, right, and they're very active. Their kids are in sports, they've got, like, all these extracurricular activities and things like that, so I usually try to be pretty understanding to their face, right, but just by myself while I'm at home, I'm like a grumpy little fucker, like just like a little gremlin, getting real angry about everything. But like I wait and I see what happens for a couple days, and if nothing happens, that's usually when I'm like, hey man, like get your shit together. Like, this is a neighborhood, you know. But or I just fix it myself, you know, like I'll go out of my way. And usually what happens is I wait until they can see me fix it myself, and then that way when they see me, they feel a lot of guilt, and then the next time they take care of it, right. So but I don't have to say anything at that point, right. I'm just like, fucking, you do this. So I try not to have any like major confrontations with the neighbors, especially because this is a very like, I want to say like a very close-knit community over here, right? Like all of the neighbors are friends, and they all spend a lot of time together. We are not extroverted like that. Like we're homebodies. We don't want to go out and be a part of your little fire pit party and like really late at night. That's not us. But I have no problem that you do that. And so I'm always like concerned, right, that if you go and you have a problem with one neighbor, that spreads throughout the neighborhood, right? And we take care of each other a lot. So like, you know, if something happens in the neighborhood, like for instance, their daughter's car is parked on the street. They have several cars. They have to go in and out, right? There's not enough room in the driveway for them to be able to leave when they need to. It's no problem. It's in front of the street. It's on the curb. Someone hit her car one night. And we all have the Ring cameras, right? And so we have like a Facebook group for the neighborhood. And so they're like, hey, someone hit my daughter's car. Does anyone have any, like, footage of this? And so everyone's looking through their, like, cameras and sending, like, videos of everything. I didn't see anything because I have a giant pole right in front of my camera, and her car was parked on the pole. And I'm like, I see nothing. So, but yeah, so we all kind of, like, assist one another and take care of things. And there's like a Girl Scout troop here, like one of the moms is the Girl Scout person. She sells all the cookies, and you just like talk to her like through Facebook, and then you go pick it up and stuff. So I try not to be like that angry neighbor, right, when things happen. But then, you know, there's like only so much you can take at certain points. And luckily I don't have to be the angry neighbor, because the person on the other side of my neighbors is the angry neighbor. So they're the one who usually says something. That's good. And then, like, I just get the benefit. And I'm still the nice one. So I'm like, this is great. So, I don't know. It's okay. It can be frustrating at times. I think the only time I really said something was... They put a pool in their backyard. Totally fine. That doesn't bother me. I actually really like it because I get that, like, rushing water sound on my back porch. And it's just, like, really relaxing. But I don't have to pay for it to be cleaned or anything. So they had put a floodlight on the back of their house for their pool. But my bedroom window is right there facing it. So they left it on 24/7. It was just on all the time at night. As soon as it was dark, it would be on. And it was so bright, straight into my room. And, like, I have blackout curtains and everything, but it's, like, just, like, a spotlight. And so I think I said something that one time. I was like, hey, man, like, when it's late, can you just turn this off at night and stuff? And they were like, it's not even supposed to be facing you. And they were like, oh, it's not even the right way. So they went out and they readjusted it so it doesn't even, like, face my house anymore.
That's good,
like that.
That's good.
So that's the only time. Other than that, I'm just like, they'll figure it out. Plus, their entire family lives in the neighborhood. So they have, like, 4 different houses in the neighborhood. With family members. And then, like, anytime a house becomes available, another family member comes and moves in. So just for some reason, their house seems to be the, like, gathering house. So they all come over here. They don't have, like, personal space boundaries as far as, like, property lines and stuff go, but they are usually pretty considerate, right? Overall, like, they'll use our front lawn and our front sidewalk to play, like, cornhole, but they won't be doing it late into the night, right? Like, they may still be over on their driveway and in their garage, because they have, like, a bar in their garage and stuff. they'll turn down their music and they'll like get quieter towards the end of the night, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, as long as you're like considerate in that way, then I'm cool with it, right?
Yeah.
But if it's like a work day
Mm-hmm.
and you're outside blasting music at like 2 a.m., like that's gonna be an issue. And normally it's not me that has an issue, it's someone else, and then it gets handled and I'm like, okay. But you know, it's not too bad.
That's good.
How are your neighbors are close? Are your neighbors okay?
Yeah, everyone in our neighborhood is very quiet, and we're not like a close-knit community either. Yeah, so we don't ever like talk to each other or do anything with each other. But I know, like, for example, like, you were like, oh, that car accident, like, if someone's car got hit in the neighborhood, I know I could easily go and ask them to help me out, and they would be totally chill with it. Yeah. So it's not a close-knit community, but it's still, like, a community.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I feel like we're on that level.
Yeah, yeah.
Where we're like, hey, like, I've gone across the street and been like, hey, I'm so sorry, do you have a tall ladder I can borrow?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, sure, you could take this, right? Or, like, one time we had our front sprinklers on, like, a timer, and there's 2 faucets, right? One that actually runs the sprinkler and one that's just, like, the open faucet. Yeah. And I don't know how, but one day it got switched, and so the timer came on, and it was just spewing water out of the actual faucet all over the side of the house. And the neighbor just came across the street and was like, hey, man, your water's on, and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, thanks, you know. Yeah. That's my level of, like, neighbor-friendly. Yes. But the rest of the neighborhood is very, like, every week they spend time together. You know, like, they all have fire pits, and they, like, bring the fire pits out onto their driveway and, like, pull chairs out, and they all, like, sit around the fire pit and, like, hang out outside. And, like I said, the neighbors have a bar in their garage, so they serve drinks out there and stuff like that. And, and they spend a lot of time together and, like, play cornhole, and, like, the kids all run around together and stuff. I don't know if we're just not, like, as close with them because we don't have children, right? Like,
no, I feel like that's just, like, an extroverted thing. Like, if my neighbors did that, and a lot of them don't have kids either. Really? Yeah, if they started doing that, I don't think Jackson and I would participate. No! Because it's just not us.
No. No, like, if you want to come inside and, like, play some board games with me, like, cool, I can do that. Yeah. But, and we did go to, like, one of their parties one time, and we, like, met all the neighbors and stuff like that. And they always invite us. They're always like, hey, we're gonna do this later, come on over. And I'm just like, oh, I don't want to. So no, I just, no. I think when we buy, like, our next house, which will not be for a while, but when we do, I want more space between me and my neighbors.
That's fair.
Like, even more. I'm like, you stay over there, I'll stay over here. You call me if you need something. Yeah. Otherwise, no. Well, I'm surprised that, like, your neighborhood isn't more, like, talkative with one another, because your houses are really close together.
Yeah, our houses are really close together, but everyone minds their own space and minds their privacy a lot.
I guess because it's closer to the city, right? Like, when you're in the city, like, people don't really talk to their neighbors.
No.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess because we're out here in the cow pastures, it's just more, like, southern friendly charm, you know? Yeah. It's okay. I like it. Like, I like being able to rely on your neighbors. Yeah. But I don't have to do it daily. And then I really hate when, like, I gotta go take the trash out or something, but I don't want to have to get dressed to go roll the trash can out to the curb and everything. And, like, I go do that, and my neighbor, like, stops to, like, have a conversation with me, and I just look, like, horrible, like I just crawled out from under a rock. Like, I'm, like, wearing a robe. Like, I hate that. I'm like, oh, can you just let me bring my trash can out and go back in.
I don't think that's ever happened to us. Like,
really?
Yeah, we just roll it out, and even if we see a neighbor, we just wave hi, and then that's it. Like, we don't...
no.
Yeah, we don't stop and talk.
They stop, roll the window down, they're like, have a whole conversation with you and everything.
I don't think I could do that.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, I'm, like, in the middle of cooking dinner. Like, I gotta go inside. And then you always do that, like, where you're like, oh, well, you know, like, I've got something on the stove, I'll go in, and they're like, oh, okay, and then they, like, start talking again, and they're like, I really gotta go take this thing off the stove, like... So I don't know. They're just real friendly.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
Yeah.
I'm just not extroverted enough to have to do that on the regular.
Yeah.
I need, like, social downtime.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the only time we really, really interact with neighbors is on Halloween. We love to hand out candy on Halloween.
Yeah.
And we always, because, we have anxious dogs and everything, we sit outside. And the our street specifically, the neighborhood does it, but mainly our street. We do this thing now. It started with COVID, right? Because the kids, were afraid to come to the doors. Everyone was afraid to get too close or have, contact. So when COVID happened, we did this thing where we set out candy. It was, prepackaged little goodie bags. And we set them out on a table. On everyone's end of their driveway, they set out a table. And they sat 6 feet from their table. And kids would just come by and just grab a bag, and then there was hand sanitizer. You would sanitize your hands. So we did that during COVID. And then, as COVID has reduced, right, now everyone still does that, where everyone comes and sits at the end of their driveway with a table. And, they're dressed up, and we hand out candy to all the kids, and all the kids come and walk down our street. And it's, this whole big thing for Halloween.
Yeah.
We even have a lady, she makes homemade cupcakes for Halloween, and they're fully decorated.
Yeah.
They look professional.
Yeah.
And so every kid just comes by, and they've got, cupcakes all over their face. Right, and they're handing out candy, and I mean, you've seen this. I don't know why, but the neighborhood kids really love me, and I don't. They want to come hang out at my house and talk to me all the time. So on Halloween, it's just a horde of children that come up and try to talk to me and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really know how that happened or anything. I don't even really know their parents or where they live, and they're just always ringing my door, and they're like, "Hey, Miss Sarah, can we play?" And I'm like, "I guess." Sure. Do your parents know you're here? And they're like, "Yeah, they know." And it's really funny because one day I was like, "Hey, do your parents know that you spend time over here and everything like that? Do they know you're here?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, I told them all about you. I told them that you're Miss Sarah, and that you work from home, and that you want to have a baby, but you can't have a baby right now because you're sick." And and she just starts oversharing all this information, and I'm like, that's great. I've never met your parents, but they know all this information.
Yeah.
So yeah, Halloween's a big deal for us. We always make sure we're here to hand out.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
I wish our neighborhood did something like that.
Yeah. Well, yours is gated.
I know, that's
so
true.
It's harder for people to get there. We have people who are not from this neighborhood.
Oh, that come in.
We have cow pastures, right? So more estate style houses around. I say estate, but it's not a huge mansion or anything. But they're more spread out. And so all of those people get in a car and they drive over to the neighborhood.
I see.
And then they all trick or treat around here.
I see.
It's just safer and less to travel, right? So, and we also happen to live on the same street as the kids' park. So, the kids will be down at the park, and then they walk up here and everything.
And that's true.
I really like it. It's probably my favorite thing.
Yeah.
So one time where I'm like, yeah, let's be social and talk to everyone.
Yeah. I mean, it's Halloween.
It's Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween is the best holiday.
Yeah. There's so much fun.
Yeah. It's so fun, and you just get to have candy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's expected.
Yeah.
It's Halloween and then Thanksgiving, only because you get to eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
Everything else, no. But you get to eat a lot of food on Thanksgiving. So
could we join you guys on Halloween?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're actually going to have a Halloween party.
Oh, okay.
Not on Halloween.
Yeah.
But on Halloween Day, you can come out and hand out candy with us.
Yes.
Hell
That's what I meant.
That. Yeah. And you gotta dress up. You gotta wear a costume.
Oh, okay.
They'll read you for filth if you don't have a costume on.
Yeah.
And one year I was Daphne, and he was Velma. So, and the kids just got a kick out of that. They thought it was so fun.
Yeah.
And then we were pirates. And then we were scarecrows. So, it's just a good time.
Yeah.
And you just sit and chill, and there's music playing, and I don't know, it's a good time. You'll have to come.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. For sure.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. No, because since our neighborhood doesn't do anything, what we did last year was go to Jackson's parents' neighborhood. And they do the same thing where they set out a table out front, and then, kids just come through and stuff. But I was like, it was very mosquito infested and everything. So I had a hard time, but this time if we go to your place, I feel like it'll be better.
Yeah. I don't think we even had any mosquitoes.
That's good. We
do it fairly early. I think they start at 7. And the kids start at 7. And then they usually finish, once it's dark, there's not a bunch of people out anymore.
Thanks for hanging out with us. This has been a great time. I'm hoping that you'll join us for the next podcast. This is Taylor.
And this is Sarah.
And this is The Maniac.
Yeah!